Hello, hello, and welcome to today's entry in the life and diary of David Brainerd. As Mr. Brainerd's religious impressions, views, and affections in their nature were vastly different from enthusiasm, so were their effects in him as contrary to it as possible. Nothing like enthusiasm puffs men up with a high conceit of their own wisdom, holiness, eminence, and sufficiency, and makes them so bold, forward, assuming, and arrogant. But the reader will see that Mr. Brainerd's religion constantly disposed him to a most mean thought of himself, as a basing sense of his own exceeding sinfulness, deficiency, unprofitableness, and ignorance, looking on himself as it were than others, disposing him to universal benevolence and meekness, in honor to prefer others, and to treat all with kindness and respect. And when melancholy prevailed, and though the effects of it was prejudicial to him, yet it had not the effects of enthusiasm, but operated by dark and discouraging thoughts of himself, as ignorant, wicked, and wholly unfit for the work of the ministry, or even to be seen among mankind. Indeed, at the time forementioned, when he had not learned well to distinguish between enthusiasm and solid religion, he joined and kept company with some who were tinged with no small degree of the former. For a reason, he partook with them in a degree of their dispositions and behaviors, though, as was observed before, he could not obtain those things wherein their enthusiasm itself consisted, and so could not become like them in the respect, however he erroneously desired and sought it. But certainly it is not all to be wondered at that a youth, a young convert, one who had his heart so swallowed up in religion, and who earnestly desired its flourishing state, and who had so little opportunity for reading, observation, and experience, should for a while be dazzled and deceived with the glaring appearance of mistaken devotion and zeal, especially considering the extraordinary circumstances of that day. He told me on his deathbed that while he was in these circumstances, he was out of his element and did violence to himself, while complying in his conduct with a person of a fierce and prudent zeal, from his great veneration of some who looked upon as better than himself. So that is, would be very unreasonable that his error at that time should nevertheless be esteemed, or just ground of prejudice against the whole of his religion, and his character in general, especially considering how greatly his mind will soon change, and how exceedingly he afterwards lamented his error, and abhorred himself for his imprudent zeal and misconduct at that time, even to the breaking of his heart, and almost to the overbearing of his natural strength, and how much of a Christian spirit he showed in condemning himself for that misconduct, as the reader will see. May the Lord bless you today. Thank you for listening.